Of course, the right wing MAGA titty babies are still losing their minds about Kimmel because Trump attacked him. They attacked him. They celebrated him being suspended. And then he comes roaring back and has record views, record ratings. So Piers Morgan, who I think is just a total prick, he invites a panel to come on. And there was one interesting panelist that I want us to do a deep dive in. This is just a couple of days ago, you guys. Piers Morgan has on CPAC's Matt Schlapp to talk about Kimmel. Kylie, play the clip.
Great. Yeah, but there's not a misuse of power for citizens and for Americans to take to the courts to ask this question. This is a fair question, Piers. Maybe the FCC doesn't have the ability to change what ABC does with these editing decisions, and they don't. That was about local broadcast stations. That wasn't about ABC or Disney.
He just goes on, and he's trying to find, room here in this complete attack on free speech. But I thought, Matt Schlapp, that sounds really familiar. I feel like there's a scandal there. So, like any good podcasting investigator, I went to his Wikipedia page. Kylie, pop this up. In January of 2023, a campaign staffer for Herschel Walker's U.S. Senate campaign alleged that Schlapp groped him in October 2022 after Schlapp had been drinking. Schlapp denied the allegation. The alleged victim filed charges against Schlapp for battery and defamation. So this is a Republican on Republican situation. The plaintiff provided records, contemporary phone calls, and texts regarding the claims. Then, later that year, in August of 2023, the Daily Beast reported that Schlapp had attempted to settle the lawsuit against him for six figures. Earlier that month, two additional allegations of sexual assault by Schlapp against male staffers were reported by the Washington Post. That December, CPAC was accused in the lawsuit of covering up. They covered up this sexual predator who was preying on MAGA men, you guys. In March of 2024, a Schlapp spokesman announced that the lawsuit had been dropped, quoting a statement from the plaintiff saying, "The claims made in my lawsuits were the result of a complete misunderstanding, and I regret that the lawsuit caused pain to the Schlapp family." Yak, yak, blah, blah. In February of this year, you guys, Schlapp was accused of sexually assaulting a man at a bar in Sperryville, Virginia. A sheriff's report indicated that Schlapp made multiple bar patrons uncomfortable before groping a man's genitals and being kicked out of the bar. Schlapp allegedly followed around and stood close to multiple groups of men in a Virginia bar, making them uncomfortable. After being confronted by some of the men, Schlapp didn't stop. And he was grazing his body against men while walking past, according to the report. So in MAGA world, if you have assaulted men, this guy is a clear sexual deviant predator, and he's assaulting MAGA men. And then there's a lot of evidence here that this man has a lot of fucking problems. And then Piers Morgan and others troll him out to be a spokesperson for the MAGA regime, which makes perfect sense.
Yes. And when you're reading that, I'm thinking, remember Kevin Spacey got canceled completely? Like, you don't see him anywhere anymore because he did this exact same shit. What does MAGA do? They elevate him. They put him on TV. They make him in charge of CPAC because being a sexual deviant is in the plus column.
It's a prerequisite.
It's a prerequisite.
Okay. And so then we needed to see what was going on in Schlapp's personal life on the wiki page. Of course, he's married to this woman named Mercedes Schlapp. I went and looked her up. Mercedes is all over Newsmax. She's a big Trump thumper, big Jesus lady, apparently married to a sexual predator. And of course, it's mentioned in here that Schlapp is a Zionist. We couldn't go without mentioning that. And then I just found some video. I wanted to see where Schlapp was about religion and marriage and, all of these things, considering that he has very aggressive actions, very well documented assault on men. He likes to assault men.
Right.
So he's married to this Mercedes chick. They both talk about Jesus. So here's what he has to say about religion and marriage.
Is there a place for that in the so-called conservative movement, homosexual marriage? Because I mean, as you know, even at CPAC, there's Lady MAGA walking around and drag queens and all of that. I mean, how does all that marry together in a conservative thing the way most people understand conservative?
Right. So I have my views as a Catholic, and I accept the church's teachings on questions of sexual ethics, and I believe in traditional marriage as the head of.
Okay, so here's my thing, you guys. And, we've been forming this hypothesis that we have a lot of very broken people running MAGA. There's a lot of stunted growth. I think stunted emotional growth, and also a lot of repressed sexuality. And it comes out in these crazy ways because there's so much shame and all of this pressure. I mean, Matt Schlapp probably, when rubber hits the road, might not want to be married to Mercedes. And so then he gets all liquored up.
Yeah.
And he's out there grabbing people's balls.
And for, just the hypocrisy, I just wonder, do people ever get tired of the hypocrisy? Do they ever get tired of somebody talking about sexual ethics? Who the fuck cares what you do in your bedroom? Matt, the reason we're talking about you is because you're a hypocrite and because you get drunk and you do things that you condemn, and everybody acts like you should be leading a group of people. You should say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. I probably shouldn't drink, but there's no such thing as accountability.
All right, let's move on to a Catholic guy here. His name is Father Dolan. And Father Dolan is a priest who recently appeared on Fox News in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder. Kylie, play the clip.
I got to learn about this guy. And the more I learned about him, I thought, this guy's a modern day St. Paul. He was a missionary. He's an evangelist. He's a hero. He's one, I think, that knew what Jesus meant when he said, the truth will set you free. And to do it, now, I understand he was pretty blunt and he was pretty direct. He didn't try to avoid any controversy. He didn't even try to avoid confrontation. The difference is the way, the mode, the style that he did it, always with respect. And not only was that a gracious...
Okay, I've heard enough. So, of course, I had to look into this guy, because how does a man who's a priest that knows that, I would think he would know that Jesus spoke out against the accumulation of wealth. Jesus spoke out against demonizing poor people. And then Charlie Kirk, is a demonizer, a racist, a sexist, all of the things. So I thought we need to look into this Father Dolan that they're trotting out on Fox News. Much to my surprise, we find this. Dolan additionally made sure that clerical abuse survivors would not get access to redress by moving monies around the diocese range of accounts. The switching of funds and his clearly articulated objective endorsed by the Vatican. So basically, there was money that was supposed to be paid out, you guys. And there's an article attached here for your reference. They're supposed to be paid out to victims of child rape and child sex abuse. And of course, like a lot of people within the Catholic Church, they covered it up and they helped the rapists and the child molesters hide their crimes, and they didn't advocate for the victims. So that's why this priest felt nothing when he walked onto the Fox News set and tried to whitewash Charlie Kirk, and he tried to make him into a saint because he's already dicked over little kids that got raped by his colleagues. That is the depravity of this movement.
And how do you put your head on the pillow at night when you do this shit? And it's like they feed each other on it. It's like, oh, well, you did this. Well, I can one up you. I mean, it's just the moral collapse of these people. It's breathtaking. I get so frustrated by it.
I think that what we're realizing is Trump is their hero in a way that is really gross. They celebrate him because he's able to fuck the porn star, have 3 wives, be completely morally duplicitous, And they have had to do that in secret for so long. And so you have this really weird thing in America where we always would hero worship. And, all the Disney films are about, the good guy winning or the superheroes, are trying to defeat the bad guys. Now you have all of these people that are celebrating the villain. They're celebrating the villain openly because, like this priest, he's got a nasty, dirty little secret. Matt Schlapp has a nasty, dirty little multiple secrets of sexual abuse. And so then when they see Trump, a sexual abuser that can be president and be all of those things, that's their version of a hero.
That's a great way to put it. And I think you're right. And that's really terrifying.
It's awful. It's awful. All right. That's all we have. We'll be back later with more news. Please, please, please buy our book. Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. The link is below in the bio. I think you'll quite enjoy it. We'll see you all later.